Hey guys, Wilson here for another video. This is going to be a psychedelic garage band video. The 13th floor elevators. I've been threatening it for a while now. You can see the poster behind me. That's from Chet Helms' Avalon. It's a family dog poster. It's got Moby Grape opening up for the elevators. It's 1966, when the elevators were, the last few months of 66, when the elevators were all but a Bay Area band touring, playing up in Northern California. But of course, the elevators were really a Texas band, and that's what they shall remain. So, I didn't prepare too much for this video, but I don't have to. I can do it off the top of my head. I'm going to be using the sign of the Three-Eyed Men box set, which came out some time ago, back in the 2010s, I believe. It's a cool little box. What you got to understand about the elevators on CD is that the original, master tapes are gone. So you just, hope for the best when you listen to these things. And there are two classic albums. The first two they're better than mono, I think. I usually am a mono guy when it comes to 60s, because I think that those albums, that were prepared in mono, more thought and care was given into the mix than the stereo mixes. But there are exceptions, You have to take it on a trial-by-trial basis, a case-by-case basis. Anyways, in this book, which comes in the box, I don't do the unboxing video, so I'm not going to show you all the posters and stuff. There's any number of CDs, and that's what I'm going to go over. They only had 3 albums, 4 if you count the pseudo live one, which, now that I think about it, I don't know if it's even in here. Or if it's in here, they didn't bother to reproduce the cover. Anyway, it starts off with this this headstone disc, which is the Contact Sessions, the label that they were on, or the studio. I don't remember now. Can you see this? Again, this is what I know. Oh, there you go. This is another one of those videos I'm doing at night, so the light isn't that good. Closer, right there we go. Okay, so this was their first attempts at an album. It is not the the takes, certainly not the mixes that they used for psychedelic sounds of, but it's pretty good. A lot of the songs ended up being on the album, but not everything. Like Take That Girl, You Can't Hurt Me Anymore. There's the Buddy Holly numbers, I'm Gonna Love You Too. And then the Solomon Burke, When Everyone Needs Somebody to Love, like the Stones did. What else is on here? That's pretty much it. But it would have been an interesting release. And also, what's really good is this Live in California. It's also at the Avalon Ballroom. I mean, this could be the show that's behind me, but I don't know, because the dates are never given. In fact, I only know it's from the Avalon because I've read that online. This, folks, is an excellent live 1966 elevators performance, very well recorded. This could have been released as an album at the time. And based upon this, I'm going to say the Elevators were the best band playing in the Bay Area for the second half of 1966. The live shows that I have from the Airplane, from the Dead, from Quicksilver, etc., are not as good as this. This is smoking. This is rock and roll. They do, again, the Solomon Burke tune, Everyone Needs Somebody to Love, Before You Accuse Me, the Bo Diddley number, and then other numbers from the first album. I'm Gonna Love You Too is Buddy Holly, a fellow Texan. You Really Got Me, the Kinks, The Word, the Beatles tune, and then, like I said, other songs from the first album. So this is good. I don't know if they sell this separately, but the box set is worth it. for stuff like that. And then we come to the immortal psychedelic sounds of the 13th Floor Elevators. Folks, this album's a beast. Released in late 1966, this is the mono mix. You can't really see the song titles, can you? Closer I get, the more blurry it gets. All right, doesn't matter. You can look this up online. Cut for cut, this is, if we're going to consider the Elevators to be a garage band album, a garage band at this time, this is one of the top, 2 or 3 great garage rock band albums ever. What you gotta understand about the Elevators, I should give you guys a little bit of background. Okay, so Rocky Erickson was a singer. Stacey Sutherland was the guitar player. They had, changing bassists and drummers. And Tommy Hall was like their Svengali, who played the electric jug by just blowing into a jug, and it was mic'd. And he wrote, some of the songs, and he gave them all the acid. Yeah, the Elevators were major LSD fiends, to the point that I think Stacey once said that they had never even recorded without being on acid, much less played without being on acid. Now, understand, for some context, the Grateful Dead once said that they rarely performed on acid because it was too hard to play. That's all these guys did. This album is almost like a manifesto for starting your life as a head, not as a pothead, as an acid head. The back, you can't read that, but again, if you can go online and look up, back cover of Psychedelic Sounds of the 13th Floor Elevators, you can see Tommy wrote little bits of information about each song, describing how it describes the life of an emerging acid taker, and how you start to see the world differently and whatnot. It doesn't matter if the songs were written with that in mind. That's Tommy trying to make this into a concept album, but it works. This is a great record. I guess I should mention some of the songs. You're Gonna Miss Me is their big number. It charted, made 50 something on the Billboard charts. That's the one you hear on Nuggets, the Lenny Kaye's 1972 album. It's the most well-known song, but everything on here is good. Roller Coaster is fantastic. Tried to Hide, Reverberation, Monkey Island. They're all good. Not every number was written by the band. Paul St. John wrote some stuff, but classic Texas garage psych. Can't big it up enough. They changed the cover on the CD, but this is the stereo mix. Like I said, I don't like it as much. Has the same background. I'm trying to get that in focus, but I guess it just won't focus. Anyway, it's here if you prefer stereo to mono. Then we come to the equally immortal, some say their ultimate statement, Easter Everywhere. Easter Everywhere, this is also the mono mix, is another legendary album recorded and released in 1967 when they were back in Texas. They were not going to tour or play in San Francisco anymore or the Bay Area. This is largely a Rocky and Tommy affair. Songs, equally as good. Slip Inside This House is Tommy's masterpiece. It's like his manifesto of all his beliefs, but damned if I know what he's talking about. Nearest I can gather, the song is mostly about reincarnation, but Tommy may disagree with that. By the way, there was a documentary being made about Tommy Hall. Again, you can look this up online, which was never finished. I'd love to see what was filmed. I believe he's still alive, living in San Francisco, as far as I know. But Slide Machine is great. Again, going over song titles is not my thing, but get this album, get Psychedelic Sounds of. You don't need this box set to buy these albums. Get the mono mixes if you can. They say that there's a guy online named Professor Stoned, and if you can download his mixes, which I believe are from the original mono LPs. they say they sound better than this, and the Psychedelic sounds of. So keep that in mind, Professor Stone, if you want to look that up. And, maybe you'll dig that more than you dig the CDs. Okay, moving on to the second half. This is the stereo mix of Easter Everywhere. Again, they changed the album cover for some reason. Keep a similar one for the back, but this is not the back of the other one. Yeah, it's the exact same. I forgot they did Baby Blue, the Dylan number that I think is done best by them, Van Morrison and them. So stereo mix. You had live in California, now you got live in Texas. This is not recorded as well, but it's still the Elevators. It's still pretty cool, subpar sound quality and all. But, would have loved to have seen them live. Okay, so then they're going to make their third album, which ended up being Bull of the Woods. Just like they had the Contact sessions that they recorded before the debut album, they did some recordings before Bull of the Woods. What is this called? I Love That Sound. All right, so these are recordings that they did before the Bull of the Woods recordings. Again, pretty good stuff. Wait for My Love, It's You, May a Circle Be Unbroken. See, some of the stuff ended up being on Bull of the Woods. Living On, that's one of the highlights of the next album. Dr. Doom, Sweet Surprise. I mean, I pretty much like another good thing about this box set is you get all the 45s and the 45 mixes, again, taken from the original vinyl. You might think it doesn't sound all that great, but it's as good as you're going to get, unless you're going to go out and track down these original 45s yourself and try to, make a vinyl to tape recordings. You can just do it yourself, but I don't do that. Here's Bull of the Woods, which was their third and final album. This is largely a Stacey Sutherland affair. He was taking the reins away from Rocky and Tommy, who weren't that involved by this point. This is my least favorite Elevators album, with my least, I think the sound's the worst too. Now, once you've overdosed on the first two albums, you do find yourself returning to this one more and more. Like I said, Living On is great. What is this I can read. Barnyard Blues, Till Then, Never Another. Well, you know what? I didn't read all the songs from the first two albums, so I'm not going to read this one either. This is my least favorite, but there are still some good songs on here. Stacey, a good guitar player, good psych garage guitar player, ended up being killed, shot by his wife in Texas in the 1970s. All the Elevators ended up screwed up in some way or another. I mean, we know that Rocky, had to be institutionalized, and they gave him electroshock therapy, and then there's a documentary about Rocky Erickson. He lived with his mom. He heard voices in his head. This is Death in Texas, another one of not great sound quality. I think this show, if memory serves, this is Stacey right here. He was totally fried on acid when this was recorded. Thought he was going to die or something like that. And again, the performance kind of shows that. But it's all this stuff is interesting. Here's another version I have of Easter Everywhere, which I had before I got the box set. Here's another version of Psychedelic Sounds of. These are not all the versions I've had of this album. I've been having different versions of this. I looked for a good sounding version of this for a long time. And as long as I'm here, I can briefly discuss Rocky Erickson. He had a rather successful solo career for a guy who's been, worse than Brian Wilson for a long time before he passed. This is a good 2-disc set. I've always been here before. You'll be able to see that. Maybe not. Wow. The thing about doing these shows at night is that it's hard. The lighting is not good. This is a good cross-section of everything he'd done up until the point of this. I will mention, We Sell Soul, first song on here, is the 45 by the Spades, which was Rocky's band before the Elevators. They later re-recorded that song with a different title, of course, as an Elevators tune. There's a lot of Elevator stuff. Right Track Now is a great song he does with Clementine Hall, which was Tommy's Woman. Then we go into the solo stuff, Red Temple Prayer, Two-Headed Dog, Starry Eyes. What a great, couple of songs those were from the 70s. Bermuda was a great 45. And then stuff, from the albums. Here's Rocky Erickson, The Aliens, The Evil One, which I think is the 1981 version of his debut album from 1980, Rocky Erickson and the Aliens. This is mostly the same album as that, but I think some different tracks. I recommend all this stuff, folks. He was like a horror writer, like horror film writer, kind of, like Glenn Danzig was, in the Misfits. But Rocky, was truly out there, so his stuff is different. So anyways, and if you're interested about reading about them, this guy, Paul Drummond, wrote a book which I had in my classroom. I brought it home to show you in this video. It's down there in my car. I'm too lazy to go get it. It's 3 stories down. It's what you want, though. So just type in Paul Drummond, that's how you spell it, Drummond, 13 for Elevators. You'll get that book, and you'll get this one. This is his, it's called A Visual History. He took the text, a lot of the text, not all the text, from that novel, or that book, not a novel, with lots of more pictures, color pictures, black and white pictures, and made this or a few years ago. I got them both, but the one to read, if you really want to read the story, is the first one. If you want to see a lot of pictures and you're not into, the text so much, this is the one. And I believe those are the only 2 books on the Elevators, but I could be wrong, right? So, nice little short video, well under 20 minutes. One of my favorite garage rock bands. I know that my Seeds video was not terribly watched by you guys, or by y'all, as they say in Texas, where I'm from. But I'm going to keep doing garage rock videos because I love those bands. And I'm going to say the Seeds and the Elevators, in whatever order, you want to put them in, would be my 2 favorite garage rock bands, right? So I got the replacements coming up for you guys real soon. That's going to be my next video. So this is Matt signing off.